Good evening. We're all invited to take another terrifying journey into the world of mystery, suspense, and terror. Let's turn off all the lights, lock the doors and windows, sit back and enjoy this evening's chilling tale.
All right. Well, thank you, folks out there in internet land, for tuning that dial to the Eek channel. My name is James, and today I am joined by my first co-host,
Danny.
and my other co-host,
Josh.
This is Eek Speak, which is the show that serves as your weekly horror house party. Everyone wants to talk about scary movies on this show, and today we're going to call up our friend R.F. Blackstone in just a moment, and he is a horror author.
Okay.
Yeah, he's got a couple things that I saw on Audible and Kindle and all that kind of stuff. So he actually has some material that we can actually find and read.
Very cool.
Yeah,
Fantastic.
Yeah, I'm super excited about it. He seems like a really, really nice dude. Before we get too far into that, just how you guys doing tonight? What's the general vibe for tonight?
Just in general?
Yeah. How are Danny?
Oh, I'm terrific. It was raining on the way here. My hair got wet, but otherwise I'm
that.
feeling pretty great. I'm a little loosey-goosey, but I think that helps when you're doing some spooky casting. Maybe.
I like that. Okay, Josh, how you doing tonight?
Work didn't take as long as I thought. And
That's always a good thing.
I didn't even think I'd be here, so I'm here and happy. Let's get spooky.
Let's get spooky. All right, we're gonna try calling up good old RF Blackstone. This is an international call, which I've never actually made from my phone, so we'll see what happens.
I'm sure it'll be fine.
I think so.
Nothing wrong will happen. Do they have area codes there? Oh, they kind of do.
There we go. We're ringing.
It sounds like an international call.
Hello.
Hey, this is James from Eek Channel. I have my co-host Danny and Josh on the line. How you doing tonight?
Hello.
Hello, guys. It's pretty good. Yourselves?
Doing great. Now, before I go too far, I feel the need to clarify just maybe how I should address you. I mean, you gave us the name that you would like for us to use, and it's RF Blackstone. So should I just call you RF?
That's fine.
Perfect. I've never been in that situation before, so I just wasn't sure. So I just want to make sure
RF.
that we can just call you RF for short. That works.
Yep. If I call you Riff, I'm sorry. I might call you Riff at some point.
Oh, that's all right. Look, you can call me whatever you want, just not late for dinner.
All right, RF. For the folks at home, just real quick, could you just tell us a little bit about who you are and why we have you on the show here today?
Sure. I'm actually I'm an Australian, so if I do swear, I do apologise in advance. We just do that.
Nope, not a problem.
Oh, good. I'm a horror author.
Nice.
I started with a zombie apocalypse book, and I slowly migrated into extreme horror.
Okay, that's awesome. Well, that's fantastic. I'd love to hear a little bit more about that. We'll give you some time at the end to let us know kind of what some of your stories are about. But I would like to just start off with how let's look back into RF's history and just like your horror origin. I mean, obviously you have to like scary stuff quite a bit to end up being a horror author. So how did you come into the genre? What was maybe your first horror experience? Your horror origin story, if you will.
Okay. Well, there's two parts to it. The first part was a series of books, the books by Roald Dahl, who wrote, The Witches. That really got me as a kid.
Yeah, that's a good one.
The book and the movie as well. The movie scared the shit out of me as a kid. still kind of does.
Yeah. That's a pretty messed up movie.
So that was part of it. The other thing is, my father used to be a magician, and
No
some of the
way.
tricks he would perform. Yes, everyone has that same reaction.
That's
and
so cool.
some of the tricks. Oh yeah. Well, one of the tricks he used to do, he would take a sword and stick it through my mother's neck,
What?
and that yeah. That one also, as a kid watching my dad practice and then perform it, that also scared the shit out of me.
Oh, I bet. I can't even imagine. That's insane.
Oh yeah. And growing up around that, and my dad always had a photo of him doing that in his office area. So whenever I walked in, that's what I would see. First thing, that picture is like, oh, for fuck's sake, Dad.
Oh, dude, that is amazing. I love that. So, what's we're progressing through, and so you're into obviously horror as a genre. Do you watch a lot of horror movies, or do you mostly just read? How does that look for you?
I got started writing movie scripts in Australia. I spent 10 years writing movies.
Awesome.
None of them produced. And then I migrated to novels. So for me, it's always been movies.
Yeah.
And TV shows. Books. I'm okay reading books. Sometimes for me, it's like, oh, just hurry up and get to the good stuff in a book. Whereas with movies, they flow pretty quickly.
Oh, absolutely. I totally get that.
So some other authors I know, they're like, oh, I'm reading this. And I'm like, oh, wait for the movie.
Oh, that's awesome. I love. I mean, I don't love to hear that. Obviously, none of them actually got produced, but it's kind of encouraging. So I worked in just sort of content creation here in the States for a long time now. And for a while, I was working for a few different nonprofits, like just doing internet video content and marketing and stuff. And things would get discouraging at times, but I would always remind myself, like, okay, if I was really trying to make a film, this project would have been much more long-suffering and probably never would have even seen the light of day, rather than this one internet video or something that I had an idea for that we worked on and then got scrapped. Like, it wasn't nearly as much of a heartbreak as what it would be if I was in LA trying to make actual films right now.
Oh, yeah.
Understand completely.
So not to take anything from your experience, but I mean, there was people like you that helped me to just stay on the path and just keep creating, because I said, it could be worse.
Yeah.
I could have spent a lot more time on this.
Exactly. I mean, for me, it got to the point where I'd moved to Mexico City. I live there now with my wife, and she pretty much, I kept writing, and one day she said to me, look, I'm okay with you not working, I'm okay with you writing, just do something with it.
Yeah.
And it was around that point I had kind of started to get discouraged with trying to get a movie made, even in Mexico. And so talking to some friends, they said, you've got like 50 scripts, write them as books and self-publish them. And that was the golden moment, really.
Yeah.
And
awesome.
so told the wife about this plan, and she goes, okay, fine, I'm happy for you to do it, but submit that shit first.
Yeah, that's good.
That was it. Try to get published by a publisher, and if that fails, then go to self-publishing. I was like, great, perfect, did it. Wrote the first book, which was a zombie apocalypse story. Pretty much just the brief version. Think of a female version of James Bond in a zombie apocalypse in Cuba.
Okay. Oh, interesting.
Yeah. Wrote it, sent it to Civic Press. They do a lot of giant monsters, zombies, science fiction, sci-fi, horror. that's their wheelhouse. And they said, "Yep, we'll take it, we'll publish it." And that's how that started.
Bitchin'.
That is really cool. How much have you published? Have it had published at this point? Then, RF.
Well, at this point, I've got 3 novels out, 4 short stories.
Oh, that's really impressive.
Yeah, that's awesome.
Oh, well, 2 novels are with Severed Press. 1 novel self-published, and then the 4 short stories are self-published. And around October, I'm doing the collection of those for paperback. And then next year, thanks so much. And then next year, I'm doing a series of extreme horror novellas, where I'm doing basically extreme horror versions of the famous monsters from history.
Oh, I like that idea.
Good.
That sounds really cool.
Yeah, well, you guys are actually the first one to friends, family to actually hear about it. So you got
Scoop! Ooh, we got the scoop.
Breaking news.
Well, thanks.
There you
thanks
go.
Thanks for sharing that. I think that's really cool. I really appreciate that. Okay. One thing that I like to ask horror fans that we have on the show, if you could, this is a kind of a 2-part question. If you could eliminate one film or franchise from kind of the horror canon, what would it be? And then the flip side of that coin is if you could resurrect one thing. So I know a lot of us don't love remakes, but if you could resurrect one thing, maybe for you, if you could actually like have the opportunity to work on a treatment or a screenplay or something to resurrect a previous horror icon, what would it be? So 2-part question. What would you eliminate and what would you like to bring back?
Okay, for elimination, and this is, I've had many fights with friends over this one in similar circumstances. Texas Chainsaw Massacre, that series.
Oh wow! Do you
Yeah,
have any specific reasons why?
I don't find them scary.
Okay, yeah, that's fair.
That's really. I mean, I went and saw the first one at a drive-in cinema here in Mexico City. Great experience, but the movie just left me feeling, okay, that's it.
Yeah.
I get that. I think
Yeah.
one of Texas Chainsaw Massacre, especially the original, one of its kind of weak points is that as time goes on, you know, we expect that to be much more than what it is, because it's like, oh, this was so scary, this was so brutal. People were freaking out and like vomiting in the theater. I actually have that same experience with The Exorcist.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yep.
So like
Yep, I get that.
I like the movie and I appreciate what it did for cinema, but like so many people in my life, especially here in the States where we're, you know, very Christian oriented here in Midwest America, and they're like, "Oh, The Exorcist is the scariest movie ever made," and like my whole childhood it was like this super taboo thing that I wasn't supposed to watch, and then I finally watch it when I'm like in high school, like 17 or something. I'm like, this movie's stupid.
It's silly. It's so silly.
Oh yeah, I know exactly how that is.
Yeah. So I think I can relate.
Yeah,
Okay, so what would you resurrect from the grave?
An American Werewolf in London.
Oh, yes,
so
please. Yes, please. Yes, please.
Yeah.
What would you like to see differently about a continued or a remade or a sequel to An American Werewolf in London?
I would actually, this is going to be ballsy, but I'd remake it.
Okay.
Because right now, with how the climate is, you can do so much more with the idea than you could back in the 80s.
Mm-hmm.
And you do have that room to have the continuation. Even if the main character gets killed, you still have that ability. Yep, you know, it does live on. I mean, you rewrite the law so it's not the original one gets killed and all the rest are cured.
Yeah, I love
Make
that.
it a virus.
Yeah, I love that. And honestly, I mean, we've had a couple things since then. Obviously, you've had like the Underworld series that really hit hard with werewolves and stuff. But like recently there hasn't. Werewolves have kind of gone out of vogue, I guess I would say.
Well, the last one I remember was it 2010's The Wolfman remake from
Oh, that's
Universal
right.
I
That's
didn't see
right.
that one.
I
with
didn't.
Benicio del Toro.
Oh.
Yeah, there you go. Yeah, I didn't see that either. I feel like I was amped up for a lot of the kind of Universal remakes, but none of them have really hit the ball out of the park, so to speak.
Yeah.
That one's not too bad.
Okay.
For all the production problems, it's not too bad. I mean, Benicio's perfect choice to play the Wolfman because he already looks crazy. And Hugo Weaving as the detective inspector who's out to stop him. It's the perfect pairing.
I was gonna say, yeah, that actually sounds great. I didn't realize he was in that. That sounds really good. I guess I'm gonna have to go look that one up.
Do so, and if you don't like it, don't blame me.
All right. Well, I like to whenever I ask our guests kind of what some of their favorite horror movies are, and I get the list, and then I usually pick one, and then I come up with a few trivia questions. And so, out of your list, I chose The Thing. Are you up for some The Thing trivia today?
Yes, I am.
All right. I'm actually gonna have Danny read you some of The Thing questions.
Oh my gosh, I'm so excited. Here we go. Here we go, RF. Number 1. Many people know that The Thing is a remake of The Thing from Another World. But what was the title of the original novella where the story is from? And it's multiple choice.
Who goes there? Oh, sorry.
Didn't need the multiple choice.
That keeps happening. People
I know.
these movies so well. You got it, RF. Who goes there?
Sorry,
that
I
was,
didn't mean to.
didn't
mean to jump the gun.
No,
Nailed
absolutely
it.
no
Nailed it.
apology necessary. You're killing it right off the bat. Here comes number 2. The Thing opened the same day as another film that was originally met with unfavorable reviews, but also became a cult hit later. Was it? Do you need options?
Yes, please.
You got it. Okay, just checking. A, Swamp Thing. B, Blade Runner. Or C, E.T.
Well, I know that E.T. came out the same year, and it knocked The Thing off. Everyone hated The Thing because it was all doom and gloom, and E.T. was like, "Yay, happiness!"
Yep.
So I'm not going to say that one.
That's correct. You're right there.
Yeah, I hate that movie.
Yeah.
It's too schmaltzy for my taste.
Oh, I get it.
So we got Swamp Thing or Blade
gonna-
Runner?
I'm going to go Swamp Thing because Blade Runner is not. I mean, Blade Runner had the remake, had the sequel come out last year, so definitely not a cult. I'll go Swamp Thing.
That is a terrific guess.
It's a
You had a
great guess.
50-50 shot. It is actually Blade Runner.
So from what I found out,
Oh,
Blade Runner
bullshit.
was just Blade Runner opened the exact same day as The Thing, and critics just hated it. Critics and audiences alike just hated it.
Yeah.
Nobody wanted The Thing
Okay,
or
yeah.
Blade Runner. Just get it out of here. They want more Spielberg ET, I guess.
Okay, all right. All right, one for two. Okay, I'm fine with that so far.
You're all right. You got 3 more. Here we go. During the
All right.
autopsy scene, real animal organs were used. It is said that this made all the actors very squeamish except for one. Was it Wilford Brimley, Kurt Russell, or Keith David?
I'd say Keith David.
An excellent
Again,
guess.
stellar guess. It's actually good old Wilford Brimley. Apparently he's a
Really?
big weirdo and
'Cause
likes seeing animal organs just spilled everywhere.
I guess that was totally okay for him.
That was fine.
There's- Well, see, during the autopsy scene, he's playing it like it really is disgusting him. So,
Yeah. It was in one of the Carpenter commentaries. He's talking over that scene, and he says like, "Yeah, everybody was really grossed out, but Wilford Brimley was totally chill about the whole thing. He's like, oh, this is fine."
He's in there just poking at it. Yep, that's real
See,
organs.
I have
yeah,
trouble
guys.
watching. I have trouble watching his movies with his audio commentary because I start and I get to where I'm like, no, he's distracting me from the awesome movie.
Oh yeah, I totally get that.
Yep. All right, you ready for number 4?
Yeah, sure.
All right. What uncredited horror icon played the female voice on McCready's computer? Was it Jamie Lee Curtis, P.J. Souls, or Adrienne Barbeau?
I'm going to go with Barbeau.
You
Barbeau.
got it.
Yep. At that point, her and Carpenter had already been married, and she jumped on and did that voiceover and was never credited for it.
Hey, baby, you want to be in my movie? Okay, RF. We got 2 misses, 2 hits. I got the tiebreaker right here for you.
Here it is.
What other
All right.
iconic horror director had written a draft of The Thing before Carpenter took over? Was it Toby
Hooper.
Wes Craven, or Stuart Gordon?
I'm going to go with Stuart Gordon. That's in his wheelhouse.
Take one more guess at it. Take one more guess at it. This is the real tiebreaker here.
Okay. The first one was Toby Hooper. Craven wouldn't go sci-fi. It'd be Toby Hooper.
You
Yep,
got it
you're
there.
totally
See, there
right.
was just too many options.
You're
It
Yeah.
wasn't
totally
very
right.
fair. You got it, RF. Way to go. Toby Hooper.
And so I think this is funny because it kind of it all ties together because your one to eliminate was Texas Chainsaw, and yeah, so Toby Hooper was real hot off of Texas Chainsaw, and I believe him and William Friedkin, who did Exorcist. I think William Friedkin was kind of a sort of a mentor-ish to Toby Hooper for a while. And so they were kind of both hot off of fairly successful movies. The studio was actually in talks with both of them to work on, a remake of The Thing from Another World. Toby Hooper jumped up and started writing a screenplay. Apparently, his toned down a lot of the kind of the tension and the who I don't know who to trust. You can't really trust anyone. And the studio was like, no, that's the only part that we actually liked. So then they brought in Carpenter, who did his treatment, which was much more on that level of untrustworthy, and we're not sure who's real and who's not, and who's at fault here. And that became, that's the crux of the whole movie, and that's what makes it so great.
Oh, yeah, that's it.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's it. Watching the interactions between all the guys, you can tell, they've been there for so long. They trust each other, and then throw in this one element, all that goes out the window.
Yeah, it's incredible. And so incredible that we've seen it emulated or parodied in so many different forms of media since then. I remember one of my favorite X-Files episodes was, I think it's called Ice, and it's literally just a rip-off of The Thing. Like, I love that episode.
I remember that too.
All right. Well, that brings us to the end of our time here, RF. You've been an awesome guest. But before we let you go, I would love for you to just take a moment and tell the people where we can find any of your work or anything else that you would like to promote.
Okay. Well, all my stuff is available from Amazon. You can just go to Amazon.com and just search for RF Blackstone, and you're going to find my work. So my novels. The first one, The Zombie Apocalypse, it's called The Big Smoke. It's the first part in a hopeful trilogy. The second book is called Kaiju World, and basically that is Jurassic Park, but instead of dinosaurs, it's Godzilla.
Okay.
Nice. All right.
Yeah, that one was just more see if I could write something that's not horror, and it turned into a little horror.
Couldn't help it.
That's awesome.
The-
Go ahead.
The third one is called Flicker, and that one is about a old movie that has the power to drive people insane, and then the parties trying to hunt it down. Private investigator, a cult, Mexican cartel, all the usual people.
Interesting.
That's awesome. These all sound like at least your elevator pitch is spot on. You have hooked me with every single story so far.
Yeah.
Oh, brilliant then. And, the third one is called Flicker, and that one is about a old movie that has the power to drive people insane, and then the parties trying to hunt it down. Private investigator, a cult, Mexican cartel, all the usual people.
That's awesome. That's
Oh, brilliant then. one of the short stories, it was the last one I read. It's called Metal Apocalypse. And basically, a death metal band brings about the apocalypse, calling forth a Lovecraftian horror.
Amazing.
Love it.
Absolutely amazing.
Absolutely love
That's
it.
great.
Right up my alley.
And
for
unlike,
sure.
well, unlike Lovecraft, I don't shy away from all the actual horror. I go into the full details of how horrific these things are and all the carnage they bring.
All right.
Love it.
Challenge accepted. I
Yeah.
feel like I feel like that's like, okay, now I have to
Get out of here, Lovecraft.
All right.
throwing down the
Well,
gauntlet.
I mean, I like Lovecraft, but after a while, I kind of get to the point like I want to see the violence. I want to see the insanity take place. Don't tell me about it. Don't hint. Show.
Yeah. No, I get that. Actually, he's not on today, but one of our other very regular co-hosts, he kind of has the same thing. Anytime we watch a Lovecraftian inspired movie, our co-host Cody kind of like he already writes it off from the beginning. He's like, I'm not gonna like it because I'm gonna love the idea of it, and then there's not gonna be any payoff.
No payoff.
Yeah. Well, see, maybe he's going to like the upcoming Nicolas Cage one, The Color Out of Space. Maybe that's going to go there.
Oh, that's interesting.
That was what I.
Yeah. Well, I mean, it's Lovecraft and Nicolas Cage. What more do you want?
It has to be insane, right? Like it just has to be crazy
Well,
and insane.
And it's being produced by the guys who did Mandy. So.
Oh, okay. Yeah. That's definitely going to be something worth checking out. Well, hey, you even threw another movie recommendation at us. I hadn't even heard of that one yet, so
Yeah.
that's exciting. I'm
Oh,
stoked
really?
about that. Yeah. All right, man. Well, it's been so great talking to you. Thank you for being on with us today, and I hope you have a great evening and enjoy the rest of your week.
Yeah, very cool talking to you, Arif.
Thank you so much. I had a wonderful time. Hope I can be back on soon.
Absolutely. We'll make it happen. Thanks so much.
Awesome. All right. See you guys.
Yep.
Bye bye.
See ya.
That was fun.
He was nice.
He was nice.
I like him.
Danny, I think every time you've been on Eek Speak, after we hang up with the person, you go, they were nice.
Yeah, I'll tell you. I'll tell you if they're not nice.
I really hope that we get somebody sometime and you're just like, he was a dick.
He could have been nicer.
She sucked. They were the worst.
We've had such excellent guests on the show so far. They're always nice. They always have so much to tell us about.
It's so true. It's
we learned something from all of them.
It's definitely been a good time. Okay, let's get a little bit. I'm gonna dig a little tiny bit into our horror news before we wrap up here. So, one thing that happened this week is Full Moon Features, which are either of you really familiar with what that is? Whenever I say the name Full Moon Features.
Nope.
Negative.
I didn't think so. So these are the guys who released the entire Puppet Master series. These are the guys who did Evil Bong
I missed that one.
and all of the Evil Bong movies.
Got it.
They are very much a kind of very lowbrow horror label that is proud of their lowbrow horror heritage.
Got it.
Their most popular product has definitely been Puppet Master.
Did they do Zombievers?
I don't know if they did Zombievers, but I wouldn't be surprised if they had a hand in it somehow. Most of their stuff is actually older outside of Puppet Master has had a couple recent iterations, but a lot of their stuff is older, 80s for sure. They kind of came about in that big 80s horror boom. But they just launched their own app. It's the Full Moon Features app. It is a streaming service that is $6.99 a month, and it has hundreds of titles from their over 500,000 title catalog.
Wait,
They're
what?
Hundreds of titles from
No, I got
just
that. The end part.
their
own.
their own
That's
catalog,
amazing.
which is over 500 titles.
Good lord.
That's a lot.
Yeah, and so I don't know how much of it is all available at one time, but I think the idea is being pretty much all their stuff will be available just on their own platform.
Wow.
So what's interesting about this is it's really the first time we've seen anyone try to directly compete with Shudder as far as, hey, this is a horror movie platform with its own price tag. So I'm interested to take a peek at it. If nothing else, what you can expect from Full Moon Features is a bunch of shit that you're never going to find anywhere else. There's already a bunch of European cult classic movies that are on there that I've never seen, and so yeah, it'll be interesting. I think they have a 7-day or 30-day something, 15-day free trial, something like that. I might check it out and see what all is on there, but I'm interested. So the next thing, New Line Cinema, which was all but dead until a few years ago. So they're owned by WB, and they actually released the new Shazam movie was under the New Line banner, which I thought was interesting. It might have been the first one since WB's kind of brought the name New Line back from the dead. I'm not sure. But New Line Cinema has come out and said that they have signed on James Wan to do a new title for them. They say it is a original title, and they're not disclosing any information about it.
Oh.
Now, the rumor mill says it's not an original title, and it is a secret Nightmare on Elm Street reboot.
Ooh.
That's what the rumor mill says.
How do you feel about that?
I want it more than anything in the world.
Really?
Oh my god, I want it so bad.
Would that be your number one resurrection?
No, my number one resurrection is actually I if you listened to the podcast when you weren't on it, you would know because I said it.
I just don't remember.
I said it last episode, and it was Silent Hill.
Okay.
I think that Silent Hill as a film, obviously there's a whole different conversation about talking about it as a movie, as a video game franchise, but Silent Film as a movie franchise, I think is ripe for a remake, and I think it would be amazing with today's technology, today's maybe more sensible taste. I think that it could be fantastic.
Cool. But Nightmare on Elm Street would definitely be...
Nightmare on Elm Street is just so near and dear to my heart, and I hate the fact that we haven't had just... I don't want to live in a world where kids grow up and don't know 1-2 Freddy's coming for you and don't know this is your big break. Welcome to prime time, bitch. I need people to know about it. Like, people need to know about this wise kraken terrifying nightmare monster. Like, it just needs to we can't erase that from the annals of history.
No.
So yeah. So I want more. I know the remake in what was that, 2009-ish, whenever that was, wasn't great, and they did some really stupid stuff, but I would take anything. I'll take a bad Freddy movie if it means that Freddy is in pop culture again.
Okay.
Which I think as a big Marvel fan, you understand that with some of the Marvel characters.
Yeah.
Like,
yes.
I think a lot of people felt that way about Doctor Strange. Like, yeah, the movie's not great, but hey, Doctor Strange is actually being talked about.
Yeah.
Worth it.
I can go up to any old person now and say Doctor Strange, and they know pretty much exactly what
Benedict
I'm talking about.
Cumberbatch.
Benedict Cumberbatch guy, right? And I'm like, yes, that's the guy. But you think those rumors are pretty spot on, though?
I don't know. I think they might be shooting in the dark.
Yeah.
I hope they're not. I don't think New Line would ever come out. Anyone representing New Line would come out and say, "Hey, we're bringing Freddy back."
Mm-hmm.
So I think that the possibility is definitely there.
Yeah.
But it's probably not what's actually happening.
Yeah.
Seeing how many things that he's kind of, I feel like every time we have a horror movie news, we're saying that James Wan is doing something. So I think he's dipping his toes into a lot of different places, and he's probably getting production credits on that stuff and maybe not necessarily directing it or writing it or whatever. But I feel like he's doing a lot, and to be doing as much as he's doing, because he's doing the we know for a fact he's producing the, what is it? I Know What You Did Last Summer TV series for Amazon. And so just to be doing that and already kind of resurrecting an old IP and then doing something like resurrecting Freddy Krueger, that seems like biting off a lot more than you can probably chew.
He's just James wandering around.
Stop it. Just need to stop.
You're really nice.
that I could be nicer.
Tell nice jokes.
Oh, he's so nice. Did you hear that guy? He's so nice. All right, guys. Well, that about wraps it up for this episode. Don't forget, Eek Speak is our online horror talk show house party deal. And, you're invited to the party. We record live on YouTube Monday nights at 7:30 Eastern Standard Time. We would love for you to join us, to be a part of chat or, all the other things. A party is always more fun whenever you have... People. Yeah, I need guests. We can't do the party by ourselves. It's not going to be very funny.
No.
No one's going to want to just be at our party with no one else here. So, if you'd like to be a guest on the Eek Show, you can hit us up on Instagram at Eek Channel. That is EEKCHANNEL. Or you can email at hello@eekchannel.com. You can also go to our website at eekchannel.com and click the Be a Guest in the upper right-hand corner. If you want to help out the show, you can rate, review, comment, like, subscribe, enable notifications. I always mess up the enable notifications. That's a hard one to say. It's a hard one to say when you're rattling them all off. You can do all those things, or you know what? You can just watch these guys dance when I'm trying to be serious and do an outro and stuff, and I'm not even looking at the right camera now because I'm all confused. Anyway, don't do any of the internet things if you don't want to, but I'd like for you to. Ultimately, if you just tell a friend that you think this is a pretty cool podcast, maybe they should check it out. Maybe you have a friend who likes scary movies, but you don't really like scary movies. I don't know why you'd be listening to this, but maybe you just saw something and you clicked on it, and now you're like, oh God, what did I get myself into? But somebody else would really like this. Tell them. Just tell them. That's great. That's fantastic. Thank you so much for listening.
This has been a production of Eek Channel. We make spooky stuff for people like you. You can discover more content like this at eekchannel.com or find us on Instagram, Twitch, YouTube, Facebook, all the places. And don't be shy, we like making new friends. Thank you for tuning in and stay eeky out there.